Hello family and welcome. My name is Crystal and this is Eve's Rising. I wanted to talk to you guys about the dark night of the soul. And you get the dark night of the soul through different levels of awakenings, but it's mainly surrounding the Kundalini Awakening. And if you haven't seen my video on my Kundalini Awakening, I would go and look at that because that just shows you, it explains my Kundalini Awakening, how rough it was, how fast it was. And I just had my Kundalini Awakening in February, my full Kundalini Awakening. But looking back, I think I started having my Kundalini Awakening about 10 years ago. And the thing with the Kundalini Awakening is you can choose, right? Because we have free will. You can choose whether to push it off or push it off. And you don't have to face, your darkness. And oftentimes it's our darkness that causes the most problems in our lives, right? And so the dark night of the soul, it's probably going to be the hardest thing that you ever go through. And sometimes, like in my experience, right? My Kundalini Awakening started 10 years ago. And I wasn't able to look my darkness head on. I wasn't brave enough. And that is what the dark night of the soul is. It's walking hand in hand with your darkness. It's walking hand in hand with your traumas. It's walking hand in hand with your shadows, which lie in your subconscious mind. And when you have an awakening, a lot of times it comes from a deep-rooted trauma or a trauma that happens to you, and you don't know how to handle it. Okay, so my full Kundalini Awakening happened when my dog died, and to me it was the most traumatizing thing that's ever happened. Because I was adopted and I never truly had a family or anyone that understood me or anyone that loved me. So my dog, I had him for almost 10 years. He taught me unconditional love, And so when he died, and it was very traumatic, he died in my arms. And, he was sick for a long time, but he was misdiagnosed, so he was on the wrong medication. And he died, from the time he started showing symptoms to when I had him put down in the backyard, it was, about 8 hours. And so to me, that was one of the most traumatizing experiences that I've ever had in my life. I still think that, a lot of people in my life could die and it would not hurt me the way this hurt me because I protect my heart, It's like I love people, but only enough to where I don't get hurt, okay? And so, oftentimes, a Kundalini awakening, it can be triggered by this deep loss, something that was very traumatic to us that we weren't expecting. And this can go along with losing parents, grandparents, friends. This can even go along with like sexual assault, things like that are very traumatizing and deep in our psyche, okay? So the dark night of the soul, if you push off an awakening, if you choose to ignore it and push it away, that's your choice. But sometimes, if you're a light being and you reincarnate into Earth, which I've seen a lot of people having Kundalini awakenings recently, and it's because, you came to Earth for a specific reason, okay? And it's to help raise the frequency and vibration of Earth. And with a Kundalini awakening, it raises your frequency and vibration. With a Kundalini awakening, you can start channeling. You can start, accessing your psychic abilities. And I think, if you're just thinking about normal life, people resonate at 250 hertz, okay? That's what the heart resonates at, the frequency of it, 250 hertz. When you access your psychic abilities, you go from 250 hertz to 400 to 800 hertz between that. When you start channeling, that's when you get, 900 hertz and above. So that's kind of what happens. And when you start resonating at a frequency that high, well, these traumas that are laying in your subconscious mind, those are lower frequency. And so they're not resonating the same as your body anymore. And in that, the psychological effect is anything that is no longer resonating at the same frequency and vibration as you, it has to come out, you guys, And that's the dark night of the soul, is all these traumas that you can no longer push aside. And sometimes, I met this other divine goddess, and she had a Kundalini awakening, and she was the first person I met that was very similar to me. She saw her ancestors in the trees and all her past lives, and I was asking her, at the time I had only been awakened for 3 or 4 months, and I was like, so how long, does the dark night of the soul last? She's like, fuck, man, I've been on this journey for 4 years, and she said, I don't think, she's like, my dark night of the soul has just kept going. But in that, we learn to manage our dark night of the soul, okay? So, at first, when all these traumas that are lower frequency are coming out of your subconscious mind, you're going to start remembering things from your past that you don't want to look at, okay? You're going to start remembering, nightmares that you used to have. You're going to start remembering your past lives and the trauma that comes and imprints on your soul. And there's no way avoiding it once you get to that point, okay? Because some of us, we have a choice when we come here, but for some of us, it's in our soul contract, you guys. And you cannot run away from a soul contract. And the more you fight it, the more painful it's going to be. And so instead of fighting your dark night of the soul, how you get through the darkest nights is you just stay present, okay? You acknowledge that these things are a part of you, and these traumatic experiences, no matter how difficult they are what shaped you into the person that you are now, the person you became. And it does not mean that the traumas are okay? And you could be mad and angry that, like I could be mad and angry that God took my dog so fast. But in raising your frequency and vibration, when you awaken, you have to start seeing things from a higher perspective, okay? And if you're angry, that's not, if you're angry and mad, it's not resonating at the frequency you are. So when your subconscious mind isn't resonating with the frequency that you are at vibrationally, that's when it causes a lot more pain than necessary. And so I always say that you need to acknowledge it. Whatever these pains are inside of you, whatever these traumas are inside of you, sometimes just acknowledging that they're there, even if you don't like them, acknowledge that they're a part of you, and life becomes a little bit easier. And it doesn't mean everything is going to be rainbows and sunshine. It doesn't mean that it's going to be easy, because it's probably the hardest thing you're ever going to go through. But when you stop fighting, that's when things become a little bit easier. And you recognize what it is inside of you. You recognize that it's a part of you. And if it's not an angry thing, if it's a guilt trauma complex, if it's something inside of you that you're having trouble like managing, sometimes just recognizing that you did the best that you could at the time. Recognizing that you acted the way you acted because you were like a hurt animal in a corner, okay? And a lot of people that go through Kundalini Awakenings, you guys are very, you're very divine, okay? You're sacred. Your soul is sacred. But you came into a planet that doesn't value you, okay? It's never valued your emotions. It's never valued your ancient knowledge. It's never valued your feelings, and you're invisible in this world. And so sometimes just acknowledging how much you've been through, okay, and how strong you are, acknowledging how strong your soul is, sometimes that makes a world of difference, okay, and I want you to realize that. And, I want to cherish you guys. I want you to know that you're so beautiful. And you're so valid. And I know that you're going through a hard time. And I can't lie to you. This dark night of the soul, it may go on for a very long time, you guys. But sometimes just having someone else cherish us and validate us, it means a world of difference. But you also need to cherish and value yourself. You need to see how beautiful you guys are, okay? And we're going to get through this. I know it's difficult. And I know it's traumatic. Okay, I know that. But it starts with acknowledgement. It starts with recognizing how strong you are and how beautiful you are. And it comes with self-love. Okay? And I came over here to do this video, and I noticed that the wind had pushed over this fountain, and while it was storming. And I thought it was very appropriate because if you go to the other side, it's all cracked, right? But this part is hollow, okay? So it's like this. Perhaps you were always hollow within, and you didn't have a firm foundation, okay? So when something happened, something traumatizing, in order to knock you over, you had no means to go on other than to fill in your cracks and build a stable foundation to where we can put you back up and the wind won't knock you over again, okay? And so, it doesn't mean when you get knocked over, it doesn't mean that this, is trash. It's still beautiful. I'm gonna fix it, okay? And no, water does not come out of this part for any of the analytical minds. It comes out of there. So it's like, I'm gonna put this back up, I'm gonna stabilize it, and we're gonna fill in the cracks. And so I want you to look at yourself like that, okay? Maybe this Kundalini awakening happened because you were always hollow inside and you were always searching for something more. And the first storm that came by and knocked you on your ass, and it cracked you, and you're broken. But when you're broken down to your deepest levels, perhaps your foundation was never strong to begin with. Okay? And I always say, before my awakening, I was walking dead my whole life. I never had a faith. I never had anything to believe in. And it was so traumatizing. I never believed in the angels. I never believed in God. I never believed in the different deities or my ancestors or spirit guides. And since my awakening, yeah, it knocked me on my ass, okay? And I was cracked, and I was hollow, and I was broken. But the divine had to do that for me, not to me. The divine did that for me so I could build myself up. I could see that I was hollow inside, and I could see all my cracks and all my shattered glass within. But when you have the shattered glass, you can make mosaics. You can make stained glass, art. So it's like, if you guys are broken down and hollow right now, and you're searching for meaning, and you're searching for something, realize that the divine has done this for you, not to you. Because once you get through the dark night of the soul, or even once you learn to manage, because I'm still going through my dark night of the soul. I have been, for like 10 years. But once you learn to manage it, that's when you can see the magic and the beauty in the world, okay? So, the dark night of the soul, after the darkest night comes the dawn, the brightest dawn. After the storm comes the most beautiful rainbows. So, I wanted to invite you guys to my family. I have a family on Telegram. I just started it. But I'm going to be doing classes, and we're going to be talking philosophy. We're going to be talking history. We're going to be talking about the occult. We're going to be talking about our awakenings. We're going to be talking about our addiction problems. You don't have to believe in God. You don't have to believe in any of the deities or angels. You can be any race, color, ethnicity, whatever. Okay? I just want you to come, and I want us to come together and get through this together, because we as humans, we've forgotten how to be human. We forgot that humans, we are brothers and sisters of Earth. We are a tribe. And the way we're going to get through this, because with my visions, you guys, I've seen visions of the future. And I was gifted so many abilities after my awakening. And it's going to be a dark, long night of the soul for a lot of people, okay? And perhaps that's why you're waking up now, so you can learn to manage your dark night of the soul, and then you can help others when they're crying and broken down, okay? And so let's help build each other up. Let's see the beauty in the world, okay? So, my name is Crystal. I am a psychic. I'm a medium. I'm a mystic. I'm an oracle, channeler, whatever you want to call me. I do one-on-one classes to get you to the next level if you're struggling like that. If you and you message me on Instagram, it's manzanita_Eve to schedule that. However, if you are in crisis, tell me you're in crisis, and I'll do everything in my power, free of charge, to help you. Okay? So I'll link the Telegram down below if you guys have any questions. If you're just struggling, if you need some direction, like I went through all this, and I had to do it alone, and I don't wish that on anyone. I don't want anyone to go through this alone, because psychologically it's so dangerous, And I know how alone I felt for the longest time until I could build my foundation again. And now that I have a stable foundation, I really want to help everyone else to see the beauty in it and to see that this isn't the end. This is the beginning of a new fountain. Okay? So, if you guys haven't heard it today, like, I sincerely, from the bottom of my freaking heart and my soul and my entire being, I love you guys. And I believe in you. And yeah, you know, the dark night of the soul, it's scary and it's lonely. But once again, if you don't go through it, then how would you see the magic in the world? The dark night of the soul is a gift. The pain is a gift. Okay? So I will talk to you guys later, and I just wanted a little bit of encouragement for you guys. So I love you. I'm about to do another video on Kundalini Awakening and lymph nodes. So if you had trouble with that, go and look for that video. Okay? All right. Love you. Bye.